So I enjoyed Vegas. So I didn't leave because I didn't like Vegas. Hey guys, it's me, Talia Arisa Gibson. You can call me TAGforShort, and welcome to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Today I have Schlotzsky's. Yes, Schlotzsky's. I haven't had this in a while, but I just didn't feel like cooking, and I had gone to the grocery store to go grocery shopping, and I was like, now that I've done the grocery shopping to get what I wanted to cook, I don't feel like cooking. It's been a long day. And so I saw Schlotzsky's and I was like, oh, I haven't had that in a while, so let me check it out. So what I have here is a flatbread. It's actually a barbecue chicken and jalapeno flatbread that's on their menu. And this rib is left over from my rib video, my recap video. And so yeah, that's not from Schlotzsky's. And then I have some ranch to eat with the flatbread, and I have some Sweet Baby Ray's spicy or sweet and spicy barbecue sauce to put on my rib. So I'm going to say a prayer and we can get started. Dear God, thank you for this food that I'm about to eat. Thank you for this day. I ask that you be with my viewers, keep them happy, healthy, and safe. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, so let's see here. All right. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I just wanted to show you guys this cute little box it came in. I think it's super cute. See? It says, keep it moving. Yep, nothing to see here. Just a keyboard and a notepad. Definitely not phenomenal handcrafted eats in disguise. That's cute. But how are you guys doing? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing well. So today I actually have a little story time. Pour me some good old water here. Y'all know I'm not a big ice drinker. Sometimes I have those cravings for ice, but yeah. So I have my rib here. I'm gonna pour. So let's move this up here a little bit. So I'm gonna pour this barbecue sauce on my ribby rib. I like this barbecue sauce because it's not like runny or watery. Definitely coats that rib nice and good. But I want to try this flatbread. So this is on their menu just like this. I just ordered it as is. I didn't change anything. So it's the barbecue chicken and jalapeno flatbread. And so you can see there the chicken, the jalapeno, the barbecue sauce. Yum. So let me try it without the ranch first. They got spicy jalapenos. They're not weak. Yummy. When you get all of that in the bite, this is really good. Just dip my hand in the barbecue sauce. Woo. Those jalapenos have a kick. And that's how they should be. That's really good. If you don't like spicy jalapenos, you won't like it. Or you'll think it's too spicy. Getting a couple bites before I get into this topic. Jalapeno. That's a big chunk. That's good. It's so good. Keep getting barbecue sauce on me. All right. So let's get into this topic. If you didn't know, I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada for 9 years. Yes, 9 years. I lived there from 2006 to 2015. So yes, 9 years is how long I lived there. And I moved there because, let's get into this rib. It's a big one. It's a big one. It's messy. So I moved there right after I graduated college from Texas Tech. I moved there because my oldest sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece were in Las Vegas. And so that's how I ended up there. If you didn't know, I actually graduated from Tech with an apparel and manufacturing degree. And so I had done an internship in Houston, Texas for an independent clothing company called Linda Siegel. And God rest her soul. She had offered me a job there as an assistant because her assistant was moving to the East Coast to be with her husband because he was a doctor and he got another job there. So I didn't take the job, but I didn't know what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. So I decided to move to Las Vegas to be near my oldest sister. And so that's what I did. I ended up going there and eventually finding a job. I was working at like it was tech support for Logitech. You know, like Logitech is the company, they make like the computer mice and different gadgets for computers, computer webcams and stuff like that. So I got that job and I was working there. And eventually I decided to go back to school. And I got a education, certification, and all that. So there's a lot, but I'm not going to get into every little piece. But so after being in Vegas for a while, my older sister and my brother-in-law, Jonathan, God rest his soul, I'll tell y'all about that in another video. But goodness, I'm getting off track, y'all. It's a lot of pieces. They had my niece Daria, and then several years later, they had my niece Braylon. Not long after that, they made the decision to move back to New Mexico, where we grew up, and my brother-in-law also grew up. And so I decided to stay there, and by that time I was working as a teacher in Las Vegas, and there, the way the retirement works is the state pays into your retirement, so they don't take anything out of your salary for your retirement. They pay into it. But the deal is that you have to teach there for at least 5 years or you'll lose it. So it takes at least 5 years for the money to vest. And so after that 5 years, then you can go on and your money will still be there. Your retirement money. And so I think when they left, I still had like 2 years before I could vest. And so I stayed, and I didn't want to just follow them just because they were leaving. I really enjoyed living in Vegas. I really had a blast, actually. Me and my friend Tasha, who still lives in Vegas, but she's from Cali. We were all over Vegas at events and always finding things to go to and all of that. So we met, actually, we joined this group called, at the time it was called the Las Vegas Nubians. And it was organized by a girl who was from Ohio. Well, actually, it was organized by some other ladies first, and then some people got out of the group and all that. But that's a whole different story. Y'all, I'm all over the place. But it was organized by a group of women, and most women were from out of state. And so they created this group for women to meet others in the group and be able to hang out and do things and go to events and go out to eat and just connect with other women, because coming from out of state, sometimes you don't always find it easy to make friends. And so that's how I met my friend Tasha. And we just clicked, and we'd go to the events with all the other women, but we just clicked really well. And she's still one of my dear friends. Actually, just recently, not too long ago, we went to San Diego for a trip. So I'm saying that because I really enjoyed living in Vegas. There was always something to do, and wasn't even like just hanging out on the strip. We would go on the strip. We would go to events and stuff and go hang out sometimes on the strip. But there was a lot to do beyond that. Also, me and my coworkers got along so well. At the time, I was a 4th grade teacher, and the team that I worked with, we got along so well. And we would go to baseball games, and we go hang out at coworkers' homes and eat food and Super Bowl games and whatever it might be. So my friend V, we would go to the studio. I was spending a lot of time in the studio with Derry, and when my friend Mario lived there, he was my engineer and recording music or actually producing music for me, so I'd be in the studio. So I enjoyed Vegas. So I didn't leave because I didn't like Vegas. The reason why I left, actually, was for good and bad reasons. But not anything bad against Vegas. I was really torn with my decision when I left in 2015. That whole year before, pretty much that whole year before, I was torn. I had already vested. I actually ended up being there longer than I needed to actually vest as far as my retirement. But 2014 was crazy. When I tell you there were back-to-back deaths, family and friends, 2014 was crazy. The year started off with my grandmother, my dad's mom, passing away. Now, mind you, she was old. She was up there. My grandmother, at the time she passed away, was 97 years old. 3 years from 100. Almost made it to 100. And that was hard. I had just been there for Christmas, and she got sick right after Christmas, like the day after Christmas. And then it was hard to leave and go back to Vegas because she was in the hospital and wasn't doing well. So I was going to the hospital and sitting with her and holding her hand. Then I went back to Vegas, and not too long after, she ended up passing away. And that was in January. So then, later on, a girl that I had reconnected with, that I had been friends with since elementary, her name was Crystal Witt, and we called her Chrissy. We went to elementary school together, junior high, and we reconnected, and she and her husband, they had actually came to Vegas, and I got to spend time with them. And so we were communicating, and when I was going to come back to my hometown in Hobbs, New Mexico, I would make sure that I was going to see her. And she passed away suddenly. She had an illness that she had been dealing with, but the time she passed away, it was unexpected. Same year, 2014. Then a girl who I was really close to in college, and we kind of weren't as close for a while, and then we had kind of reconnected maybe a year or so before she passed away, because her cancer had come back. And so she had dealt with cancer as a younger girl, and then it developed into a different kind of cancer as she got older, and so she passed away same year. And then I was visiting home in New Mexico, and we went to a Juneteenth celebration in the park, and my brother-in-law, Jonathan, had been asked to kind of headline. He was a gospel singer.
I've had ups, I've had downs. There have been times I've been leveled to the ground. I've had doubts, I've had fears. Many nights I have cried so many tears, but I've learned to try.
And so my sister and some of his cousins and relatives were singing background for him. His brother, who lived in London, had actually came back to the U.S. He usually would come back for like a month or so in the summer. His sister, who had lived in Florida, she was there. And so we were at the park in Clovis, New Mexico, which is about 2 hours from my hometown, where he is from, where he grew up. And they were singing on stage with the band, and my sister was up there singing background, as well as some of his family. And he did his first song, and then he did his second song. As he was singing his second song, he passed out. And within probably an hour of us at the hospital, they pronounced him dead. So I lost my brother-in-law. My sister lost her husband. My nieces lost their father. So when that happened, that was in June of 2014. And it was really hard for me to come back or go back to Vegas after that, because I was home when all of that happened. So I really was able to be there for my big sister while I was there. And they actually ended up coming to Vegas, her and my nieces, just to get away for a little while. So they came and stayed with me in Vegas, and then they had to go back eventually, of course, because the girls had to go to school and all that. So them going back, I was like, I think I need to move closer to home, because thankfully I was there when it happened, and I hate that I was there to see him fall out like that, but thankfully I was there for my sister. It would have taken me a little bit longer to get there if I had still been in Vegas and not visiting home, because I would have had to catch a plane and stuff like that. So what I realized is I need to get closer to home. Like my mom's mom was starting to get older. My parents were starting to get older. And then when that happened, and my dad's mom passed away earlier in January, and my hometown friend passed away, and college friend passed away. They're all this way. My college friend actually was from out here in Dallas. But it just made me kind of really start thinking I need to get closer to home. So basically from August of 2014 going all the way up to when I actually decided to leave, I was thinking about, should I leave Vegas? Should I go to New Mexico? Should I go somewhere closer to New Mexico just in case if I need to be in driving distance? So once it got to around the spring, I had really made a decision, thought about it, talked about it with friends, talked about it with family, really thought about it. But I decided I really did not want to move back to New Mexico. By then, I had already been living in Vegas for 9 years, and I was used to being in a city environment and just having a whole lot of things to do and all that. And going back to my hometown would just kind of slow all that down. And like, especially going to a studio and stuff like that. My hometown is about a little over 40,000 in population, but there's not like a big city around it like it is here in Dallas. So I started thinking about Texas because I have family in Texas as well. And if I needed to get home, it wouldn't be hard for me to drive where I wouldn't have to always catch a flight. Because I wasn't going to make a drive from Vegas all by myself. Because that's just too long. I would have got tired. Probably would have had to stop halfway through. Because it's a 14-hour drive from Vegas to my hometown. And it's not bad with like multiple drivers or 2 drivers. But by myself, my minimum, I did a 10-hour drive before from my hometown to Houston. And by the time I got to that last hour, I was like, am I there yet? So that was like my maximum. And I prefer not to even do that again by myself. So I made the decision and I ended up leaving Vegas and coming to Dallas. I'll tell you guys more about that story of how I moved and all that in another video because I don't want to make this one super long. But that was the reason why I ultimately made the decision to move. My brother-in-law passed away when I was home visiting. It was really hard knowing that I had to come all the way back to Vegas. And in order to go back and check on my sister or whatever, it would have to be a flight because I wasn't in a drive. So I realized I needed to be closer. And so it was hard. It was a hard decision. Like, I remember talking to my friend, Jasmine, who I went to church with. And she was like, you just got to make the decision that's best for you. Like, pray about it, really think about it, and just make the decision that's best for you. But it was hard because I had some dear friends there. And I enjoyed working with the team that I was on, but, and I loved Vegas. I thought Vegas was a perfect size city. Like, it's not massively large, but it's large enough. And so, whereas the Dallas area is like completely large and spread out. Like, you say you're from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, somebody might live 50 minutes away, somebody might live 10 minutes away, or just right next door, whatever it might be. So I definitely was very, very much torn. But that's why I left Vegas. That's how I got there, and that's how I left. So eventually I'll tell you more stories. There were some cool things that I got to do or that happened in Vegas. Some people say what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas, but you know, that's only when they're doing stuff that they don't want people to know about. I'll tell you what I did in Vegas. Most of the things. I'm just kidding. But yes, I'm sorry it went downhill a little bit with, yeah, but there's a lot of layers to all of that. Like, I could tell one part of that, and that would probably take a 30-minute video. But yeah, guys, that's why I left Vegas and how I ended up there. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know parts of it were a little bit Debbie Downer, but it's the reality of life. Like, life isn't always cupcakes and roses. Sometimes life hits you hard. And if you haven't been through anything, you will go through something, because life is just that way. Sometimes it's just easy breezy and things are going well. And then sometimes things happen and just causes a life change, or it causes you to have to make decisions that you didn't plan on making or didn't think that you would make. And so I was torn between Dallas and Austin. A part of me really wanted to go to Austin and just try it out and see. But I decided to go ahead and come to Dallas. Austin's cost of living is up there. But not only that, I thought about the fact, or the reason why I was moving, and it was to be closer to home. Dallas is about a 5.5 hour drive, depending on how fast you drive and depending on traffic. But it's about a 5.5 hour drive from here, which is not even an issue for me to drive that. So yeah, and if I need to fly, I can fly into the airport, but the airport would be about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half away. So I typically drive because I like to take my car. And it was really, really helpful when my grandmother, my mom's mom, got sick. And she passed away a year ago now. But when she got sick, I was able to go home quite often and sit with her and talk to her and be with her. And so I'm appreciative of that. So I really don't regret my decision to move here. I feel like it was for the right reason. If I had to say which city I like better out of Vegas and Dallas, I would say Vegas, because I like the size of Vegas. And just like there's a lot to do here, there's a lot to do there. One thing I do like more about Dallas is that there's more for the African American community here. No shade, but the Black community, there's a lot more out this way. You see like African American Black superintendents, like you see a lot of principals. They get into those high positions of education that you don't see as much there. And so you see it, but you don't see it as much as you do out here. And so it's really cool to see. But yeah, let me stop before I go off on a whole different story. There's a lot that I could talk about, but stay on topic, stay on topic. But guys, this is really good. Good flavors and good kick. And I'm going to finish this rib, but I'm not going to do it on camera because it's already long enough. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know, have you ever moved? Have you ever lived in a different place than where you grew up? Let me know. Have you been to Vegas? Have you been to Dallas? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of this video, put a pink heart. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you'll know when I post. Until next time, bye. Like, comment, subscribe.